Hi, my name is Devin Kinney. I'm going to be reading an article from NOISEY. It's unclear, but I think the authors are at Lil Internet and at Lil Government. This is originally from March 9th, 2012. Seapunk washes up. 1 week ago, the New York Times dipped its toes into the rising microgenre known as Seapunk and said that, like LOL Cats and Pedo Bear, Seapunk is an inside web joke that feeds off its own ridiculousness. Somehow we felt there was more to the story, so we hit up Core Records Internationale to get the straight dope on how Seapunk made it from a hashtag to the storied pages of the old gray lady. We didn't get much of a response, so we hit up the Twitter personae who created the term itself and asked them to tell us what the hell was going on. 2 days later, we had this incredible manifesto in our inbox. We present to you, at Lil Internet and at Lil Governments, Seapunk washes up in its entirety, not just because it's too good to edit, but because these high seas run deep, know what I mean? Seapunk washes up, the untold story behind the micro niche, as documented by Lil Government and Lil Internet, written by Lil Government. Fads swept the youth of the sprawl at the speed of light. Entire subcultures could rise overnight, thrive for a dozen weeks, and then vanish utterly. William Gibson, Neuromancer. When the idea of Seapunk, and for the rest of the reading, I will not differentiate between the hashtag or the @ symbol. When the idea of Seapunk was born in a dream, neither Lil Internet nor myself predicted the splash heard around the world, with varying degrees of amusement, amazement, and eventually eye-rolling distaste. We watched a tongue-in-cheek style philosophy that defined our summer become a press tsunami. Seapunk grew into a genre, a record label, a visual language, and a subculture. A ship steered on a very strange course by new and self-appointed captains. We have remained quiet through multiple, oddly aggressive attempts to rewrite history by those we thought were in on the joke. But our seas remain silent no longer. Seapunk today is the ex-girlfriend we thought we knew. But then she cut her hair, dyed it turquoise, started listening to different music, and untagged all her old Facebook photos. And while we don't so much relate to her anymore, what were we thinking? We can't deny experiencing unprecedented levels of entertainment watching the process take place. Allow us to share the lulls with you. We bring you the true tale of Seapunk, an accidental meme that became a scene, via an empirical timeline created through our own and others' memories, as well as a little help from the internet. While writing the story in the third person is the ultimate dickbag move, it does make for the best retelling. Dive in, just not too deep. Shallow waters ahead. The following is an image, a screen cap. Seapunk leather jacket with barnacles where the studs used to be. 4:50 a.m., June 1st, 2011. Figure 1. Figure 2. From Governmental. At Lil Internet. Let's make sandcastles. Seapunk. 8:13 p.m., June 2nd, 2011. Figure 3. A man with steampunk sunglasses and an omega symbol tattooed on his bare chest. He has red stubble and red hair, which is tied into something like a ponytail, slicked back. His chest is nearly bare of hair and quite pale. He is with a woman who has a spiked necklace. She is wearing a black bikini top and a captain's hat. A hat similar to one that maybe the fellow from Captain and Tennille would wear. Figure 3. The dream plus the hash symbol. June 2011. Lil Internet wakes up from a dream at 5 a.m., tweets about a Seapunk leather jacket encrusted with barnacles instead of studs. That was the image I talked about previously. And goes back to sleep. He tells Lil Government, who hashtags Seapunk for the first time, as aforementioned. Lil Internet and Lil Government just want to escape to the beach. And that's the image I just described to you, with the man with... yes. And a meme is born. Another image. Screen cap. Governmental. That is Lil Government. At the Super, at Lil Internet, at Zombell, at Ultra Demon, at Kara McManus, at Teams, Netgear, Seapunk. July 27th. Governmental, that is Lil Government. At the Super, at Lil Internet, at Zombell, at Ultra Demon, at Kara McManus, at Teams, Software Pirating, Seapunk, July 27th. That's figure 4. The Buzz, the Ideology, and the Secret Group. Summer 2011. A loose-knit group of Twitter users began frequently tweeting Seapunk jokes back and forth to each other. Crab claw earrings, fishnet, smoking hashtags and seaweed, etc. Cyberpunk elements begin to enter the picture. And that's figure 4, referring to Netgear, which is a, they make routers. They begin talk of sitting on a beach with unlimited bandwidth and sea setting to escape government jurisdiction, a la pirates. The lines between the internet and the sea begin to blur. Albert Redwine, at Ultra Demon, forms a secret Seapunk Facebook group and invites the crew. The lulls continue. The first article. September 2011. Super magazine in London has been listening in on and participating in the conversation, both via Twitter and Facebook. Feeling the love, they published the first Seapunk article, immortalizing the original core group, Lil Internet, Lil Government, Unicorn Kid, Ultra Demon, Zombell, Teams. More exploratory than definitive, the piece included watery graphics, a shipwrecked mermaid mask, bits of good-humored philosophy, and an essential listening track list that includes Leaf, Random Trance, and Putting Your Ear to a Seashell. Ripples in the Global Climate. Fall 2011. Dis Magazine asks, what is Seapunk? Despite various and increasingly conflicting answers, the universal consciousness is tuning in. Soulja Boy is repping his own Ocean Gang with aquatic raps like Came Out the Water. Also, tweeting both Seapunk and Splash hashtags. Seapunk tweets pop up from the likes of Azalea Banks, Venus X, Frankie Chan, and Krayshawn. Even Gaga's hair is conspicuously turquoise. Seapunk is alive and well on Tumblr and various blogs, including Mishka. I should, this is a side note, I should say that the notion of coming out the water and Ocean Gang in reference to Seapunk is a strong argument to make. However, they should also consider the relationship of Soulja Boy with Lil B, and Lil B with a wider, Bay Area rap scene, where the use of the phrase "wet" for cool is quite common. Wet also, refers to a use of a particular narcotic, which I won't get into. Alex Kazemi, http://www.oceangangclothing.com. This is a screen cap from Facebook. The comment from Ultra Demon, aka Albert Redwine, is, nice name, shitty gear though. It has received 1 thumbs up on October 29th, 2011 at 10:08 p.m. Figure 5. Bridget Nastasia. This bitch. I'd like to descale her one by one, and referring to an image on the Nicola Formichetti website. Several likes via Facebook. Figure 6. Governmental, aka Low Government. Happy to see Seapunk blowing up, but it has been a feeling since birth. Some of what I've been reading is pure propaganda. That's figure 7. Lines are drawn in the sand. September through October 2011, what was once a free-flowing exchange of quips, ideas, and imagery in the Seapunk secret group turns to squabbles about what is and isn't Seapunk. Albert Redwine, producer of Fire for Effect, wants to start a Seapunk electronic music record label with contributions from original group members. However, Lil Internet and Lil Government are wary of the us against them mentality forming, the exact opposite of Seapunk's initial lack of intention. Original supporters and musicians like Leif and Teams, who says, I stopped relating to Seapunk when I realized it had surpassed a fun Twitter joke / fashion style and turned into a club, are also disillusioned. Meanwhile, Redwine and Zambel are misappropriating punk terminology, pushing up the Seapunks. There are underscores between the words up and the and Seapunks, and the up itself is hashtagged, and driving the ship full throttle towards confusion. Mention of Seapunk's point of origin is becoming conspicuously scarce. And this is a screen capture from the Mishka Twitter. Fight SOPA and PIPA for the freedom of the internet. MishkaNYC.com/blogland/?p=980 ellipses. Pardon me. This is just too exciting. Retweeted by Albert Redwine. Sorry, that was. I actually am quite excited by this. That sarcasm was. I've been harnessing this power for sarcasm since I was 12, and sometimes I have to apologize. I didn't mean that in any harsh way. Lil Government. Music, fashion, your brain can be Seapunk, but it cannot be packaged and sold, much like you cannot package and sell the ocean. Falkland Islands. Seapunk goes IRL, the genre, the label, plus scene. November 2011 through early 2012. Seapunk, having achieved niche ubiquity, is now well on its way to being packaged and sold. Seapunk build parties go off in LA, NYC, Chicago, and Minneapolis, to name a few. Redwine's label, Coral Records, begins putting out limited edition CDRs and MP3 releases with new Seapunk electronic artists. He also begins issuing swift DMCA takedown requests to remove any free download links of Coral Records releases. Punk may be dead, but hypocrisy is alive and well via Redwine and Coral Records. Everything is really wet, and I don't mean that in a sexual way. That's why we just use a mixer and no turntables, because the water would fuck up our gear, Redwine says in a recent interview with Dazed and Confused. He would also like to start a shop. It would include expensive French fisherman's rain gear, and goes on to say, my name doesn't actually relate to the sea either, but it's all alchemy because we're making gold here. Sean Beast, aka Zambel. LOL at interviewers who actually ask, can you tell me what Seapunk is? This is how you know the article is probably going to be real bad. From Chicago. The New York Times speaks. Seapunk, a web joke with music, has its moment. March 2012. Making gold indeed. New York Times writer Ben Dietrich pens a piece about Seapunk for the Sunday Style section, interviewing Zambel, Redwine, and Lil Internet. Redwine holied outright to Dietrich that he did not have Lil Internet's contact information, added that Lil Internet doesn't have anything to do with Seapunk. Redwine is not quoted in the final article, while Zambel shouts out to Tumblr, disses Azalea Banks' pro-mermaid stance, and complains that no one will actually credit Seapunk to us. Throwing additional shade Dietrich's way via Twitter within hours of the interview taking place. In figure 10, there's an image, and he says, really though? Seapunk should have been called Wave Rave. Thanks to Dietrich's own journalistic sixth sense, he finds Lil Internet himself and includes him in the piece, thwarting a perplexingly blatant attempt to conceal Seapunk's true origins. Now, keep in mind, this article is written by Lil Internet and with some consultation by Lil Government. Right? Let me scroll back. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Yeah. Pardon me, I've lost my place. Excellent. Goodbye, Seapunk. Hello, Wave Rave. Present. Zombell no longer seems to be stressed out when interviewers ask her what Seapunk is, as she and Redwine vie to be known as the true creators of Seapunk. Coral Records continues to put out some amazing artists like Unknown, and we love watching Seapunk influence continue to swim its way into current fashion. We, Lil Government and Lil Internet, are more than happy to let Seapunk's second wave own the genre, the scene, the label, and the merchandise that they deserve full credit for creating, with one request. Might we recommend #WaveRave, figure 11, as a more appropriate blanket term for the movement, or at the very least, a more original one? It is with heavy hearts that we put Seapunk in its original form to rest, leaving you to bathe in the deep symphony of our summer 2011 Seapunk Ambient Sound Pack. The download, like Willie, is free. And then there's a hyperlink where you can download said mixtape. Water. You know, we're over 70% water, our bodies. It's crucial to life. It's an interesting thing when you create something as a joke or a play on the commodification and extreme categorization of music cultures, and you create a kind of fiction, a kind of fantastical narrative, and then that narrative is so striking to people that they take it as something that truly does exist. Similarly to the way Riot Girl happened, except that Seapunk is, it seems, well, I guess there were moments where it had like political, vigor and intentions. But at the end of the day, I mean, not everything has to have that from the outset, and it can stumble upon its political agency as well. There's a lot of comments down here. I guess I should read those. Devin Kinney. If you ever need something to qualify the end of your relevance, you gotta put a Dell or Intel logo next to it. #Seapunk, you went the way of #obey. I applaud your valiant effort. Sean Shimate, ! I guess that's a face, like Lil Internet, forever, Lil Government, dim real deal. There's a Mebius strip, infinity sign going on there. Oh yeah, that has 9 thumbs up. Sean Davidson in Baltimore. Where does Billy Ocean fit into any of this? His Caribbean Queen shared his dream too. That has 3 thumbs up. That's pretty funny. Get out of my dreams. Connor Tripler in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. LOL. Damn. That has 2 thumbs up. Dayton Castleman works at Boost, and he has a HTTP://dump.fm/images/201200303-13308-pm.png. Josh Mosh is the top commenter. He's a noisy intern at Vice. Is Kate Chopin's feminist masterpiece The Awakening Seapunk? Julian, haters keep talking, you making me famous Foxworth of the director at Karmaloop TV, at karmaloop.com, responded, "No, that's hashtag Seapunk." It's got 5 thumbs up. These are all via Facebook. I think that there's also something to be considered with Joel Santana and being splashy, swag splashing. So I mean, there's been a lot of seeds for rappers to use this, other than to basically make themselves relevant. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks, and I hope this has been an enriching experience for you. Have a good one.